I'd like to call the Monday, November 6, 2023 Oakwood City Council meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me with the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a roll call, please, Lori?
Mayor Duncan?
Here.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Here.
Mr. Stevens?
Here.
Mrs. Hilton? Here. Mrs. Turbin? Here.
And do we have a report of our minutes of the October 2nd regular session and work session, October 16 work session and executive session, and October 23 executive session? Councilmember Hilton.
Yes, Your Honor. I've reviewed the minutes from all 5 of those meetings, and I found them to be correct and complete, and therefore I move that they be adopted as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, so ordered. Before we get into our first status report, I wanted to give my apologies to the members of Oakwood City Council who first heard this story in 2015 and again in 2020. If you are a parent of or a student graduating in 2024 or a new resident to our fine city, I especially urge you to listen to my message. Unfortunately, it is now time to tell my uncle's story again. This is the story of Richard Dutro of Lakewood, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. After graduating in Zanesville, Ohio in 1944, 80 years ago, he served in the famed 42nd Rainbow Division of the American 7th Army and was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. After walking across Europe and 11 days after turning age 19 in April 1945, his division liberated the Dachau concentration camp. He would not talk of his wartime experiences for almost 60 years. In response to numerous reported instances of Holocaust deniers in the news media 20 long years ago, he started describing his personal experiences to middle school and high school students in Cleveland. I attended and listened to his story with the students, and it was compelling. After the war, he received an undergraduate degree from the University of Dayton, his master's from Miami University, and his doctorate from Ohio State University. He was a teacher and administrator for over 40 years in the Lakewood City School District. Over 10 years ago, he went to Washington, D.C. with his family to visit the World War II Memorial. His son-in-law bought him a World War II veteran's ball cap, which he reluctantly wore. At his request, they also visited the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. The tour guide, upon seeing his hat, asked him where he served. He replied he served in Europe and liberated Dachau. She exclaimed, "You liberated me." They embraced and cried together. In 1945, the Allies asked Alfred Hitchcock, the famous film producer, among others, to film the atrocities at Dachau. Because of post-war global political concerns, the film was never released for over 50 years. Upon its release, there is an image of my 19-year-old uncle with a grappling hook removing a dead German guard from the moat surrounding the camp. The Frontline documentary, Memory of the Camps, should be mandatory viewing for Oakwood High School seniors. I wonder if a single employee of the Oakwood City School District has ever seen or even heard of this documentary. 1 month ago, Hamas terrorists supported by Iran committed the worst atrocities on Jewish people since the Holocaust. Within days, Holocaust deniers were out of the woodwork again, denying the atrocities occurred even though the terrorists themselves filmed and promoted their crimes against humanity. While I have been disappointed with college liberal arts education for years, the recent virulent anti-Semitism we have seen on college campuses has been shocking. Where is the Board of Trustees of the University of Dayton denouncing such behavior? Where are the Board of Trustees of every public university in Ohio, 2/3 of whom were appointed by Governor DeWine? At least the Ohio Senate unanimously passed a resolution condemning the actions of Hamas and their allies, including Iran, on their unjustifiable attack on the Israeli people. Richard Dutrow is a true American hero. In 2020, he passed away at age 93. He did, in fact, disagree with me that he was an American hero. It was my honor to issue a proclamation in 2016 celebrating his 90th birthday. My final whereas was Richard Dutrow is known throughout the state as a patriot, educator, mentor, role model, friend, father, grandfather, and Cleveland Indians fan. Why do I tell you this story? Many of you know or should know about the yellow star attached to the clothing to identify the Jews in the camp. Did you know about the pink triangle for homosexuals, the purple triangle for Jehovah's Witnesses, the green triangle for criminals, the red triangle for political prisoners, or the black triangle for prostitutes? As the German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, "Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. What will you do when confronted with injustice?" Thank you for that opportunity. So we will now go to status reports, and we have a proclamation to recognize the week of November 12th through the 18th, 2023, as International Fraud Awareness Week. Whereas this year marks the observance of International Fraud Awareness Week, which is set aside to raise awareness about the impact of fraud upon our society. And whereas the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, ACFE, is the world's largest anti-fraud organization and premier provider of anti-fraud training and education. The ACFE has more than 90,000 members located in nearly every country. And whereas the ACFE and its members reduce business fraud worldwide and inspire public confidence in the integrity and objectivity of the profession. Whereas the Southwest Ohio ACFE chapter, founded in 1993, is one of 196 ACFE global chapters. Chapter attendees include investigators, law enforcement officers, forensic accountants, certified public accountants, auditors, security professionals, and more. The Southwest Ohio ACFE chapter promotes its core values of professionalism, integrity, collaboration, and knowledge. And whereas the ACFE presents the Chapter of the Year Award, a global award, to the chapter that has excelled in growing and serving its membership during the year, and whereas at its 2023 Global Fraud Conference, the ACFE presented its annual Chapter of the Year Small Market Award to the Southwest Ohio ACFE chapter based on numerous achievements, including the chapter's service to membership and community by promoting improved fraud detection and deterrence, providing training events to expand the knowledge of members, and fostering opportunities for members to interact and network. Now therefore, under the power vested in me, I, William D. Duncan, Mayor of the City of Oakwood, hereby proclaim the week of November 12 through the 18th, 2023, as International Fraud Awareness Week in the City of Oakwood, and publicly salute the service of the Southwest Ohio chapter of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. I would now like to ask our Chief Alan Hill to come up and say a few words about fraud in little tiny Oakwood. And after you speak, I'd like to introduce Amanda Molesky Krause, who is the current chair, or president, I believe, and Detective Robert Bell from the West Carrollton Police Department to come up, and he's the vice president of the chapter, and hear a few words from both of you as well. Welcome, Chief Hill.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. I think first and foremost, celebration to Amanda and Bob and their team. Quite an honor to receive an award, especially when you're only talking about less than 200 chapters internationally, and to be selected. I think it's a testament to the work they do. Here locally, we're not excused from victims of fraud. We see it continually, and we have for years. I talked a little bit about this during my July presentation to Council. You know, if you look at the 2022 Federal Trade Commission numbers with regards to fraud, they're really staggering. With regards to 2.4 million reports resulting in almost $9 billion in losses, almost $4 billion of that coming from the financial industry and investments. The average person suffers of a loss of about $1,400. Here locally, last year we saw our numbers from 2021 to 2022 almost double. And I know the total overall number, somebody looks at it and say it's small, the number of 23, but I can tell you if you talk to those 23 individuals that had to go through the process of reversing whatever happened to them, it can be very complicating for them to get their life back, particularly if it's if the fraud facilitated has an impact on a financial loss. And I think it's something that unless it happens to you, you don't realize that it's out there. There's a lot of things you can do to protect yourself. We have a tremendous amount of information on our website on this, and when you look at our numbers where we were last year, we're probably going to be at or exceed that in 2023 as well. So where we saw an increase of almost 100% from 2021 to 2022, in 2023, it looks like we're going to, like I said, be at or exceed that number as well. So it is prevalent. It is in our community. Unfortunately, there are people that suffer losses throughout the year, and they're reported. So just like I said, I would ask everybody, take a minute, go to our city website, go under Safety Department, and look at a lot of the information that we have out there on the most common types of scams and frauds that individuals will run into. Because make no mistake about it, every single one of us, whether you're listening at home or you're in this room, we're impacted by fraud every single day. All you got to do is go to the store and buy whatever you want to purchase, and I can guarantee you there's a markup in there for some type of fraud. And that's the reality of it. It impacts us, all of us, every single day, and we don't even know that. So with that, I'll conclude my comments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thanks, Alan Hill, for those comments. He summed it up very well on the impact of fraud. We're proud to be the chapter that was recognized as Small Market Chapter of the Year, and it's a great honor to receive that international award. And I thank my Vice President, Detective Bell, and my whole leadership team for getting us to that. As Chief Hill said, fraud is a trillion-dollar problem affecting individuals, businesses, government entities. Very pervasive, and the fraudsters just get more clever. You develop something to combat them or to try to prevent it, and they come up with the next scam that you couldn't predict. So as a chapter, we have our trainings generally once a month where we have investigators, law enforcement officers, certified public accountants, and then certified fraud examiners. And we just help train our attendees with having expert speakers come who try to tell them about the latest fraud trends and how to combat it. So, as you know, Mayor Duncan, anyone is welcome to attend, even if you just think it might be an interesting session to learn about fraud, whether or not you need the accounting or fraud credential hours, you're welcome to attend. And thanks to the City of Oakwood for being on top of the topic as well and declaring next week Fraud Awareness Week so that everyone in the community is more aware of the issues as well.
Thank you.
And we have a conference next week where we will have 8 hours talking about all the latest fraud hot topics. So, and I know you're attending that as well, Mayor Duncan.
I have signed up for that conference and looking forward to zooming in.
Yes. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So now it's time for the fun part of our meeting. We're going to announce the award winners of our Scarecrow Row contest. I believe I will come down and state the names, and if you're here, please come down. We'll present you with your award. And if you're not here, we'll make sure that we get the award to you. We had over 30 entries this year, and I think most of you have had a chance to go up and down Schaefer. They're gone now, but there were some really creative ones, and we had Vice Mayor Byington assisted me with judging, as well as Michael Bashall. For those of you who don't know, the public art that we have on Schaefer, right by Schaefer Park, of the wings, Michael Bashall designed and created that. So it was an interesting time with an accountant and an architect and an artist trying to decide what was art. But we'll start with our third place winner, okay? And that is Gooling to the Chapel by the Angel Pullman Wedding Group. They were at Patterson and Schaefer. I see them, they are here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Yes. And the wedding did in fact occur. There you go. All right. Well, congratulations to you. All right. Oh, you did it? How much did you charge them? All right. Our second place is The Lumberjack by the Cahoon, Krasik, and Patrick families, and that was at Telford and Schaefer Boulevard, and the picture's on the screen. Congratulations. There you go. All righty.
Joint effort, but
Congratulations.
my artist is a senior this year. We had to do it while he was still here.
Okay. Congratulations.
Everybody,
Look that way.
everybody smile. Right, and you can see too. Here we go.
Okay. Well, yeah. All right. Congratulations. Okay. Great. And our first place winner, Peaches, 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 by the Woodview crew at Greenmont and Schaefer Boulevard. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, my engineer husband, who was part of the design process, could not be here tonight, along with our 11-year-old son, Jax, who originated the creation. And then our neighbor helped with the design. She did the head because she's an artist. So we had the value of engineering, artistry, and project management, and a great creative group of kids. That's what my husband said. He's like, I think we just
I got
want a
enough.
target on our back.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Here, Ronan, do you wanna hold that? Okay, look at the picture. Oh, it was Andrew, hold that.
Get this one too. Thank you. I think Vice Mayor Byington and I had some help with this, because our recollection is none of us knew who Peaches, Peaches, Peaches was, and then passerby explained it to us.
about this
Okay,
tall.
First place.
Yep. Yep.
And then our mayor's award
nothing. I got
is
nothing.
Hal Oween, a howling good time by the Oakwood Beautification Committee, and that was at Peach Orchard and Schaefer Boulevard. Congratulations to you. And to you.
Carol, you can.
Yeah, get in here. Okay. And did the people figure out if you push the button that it howled? They figured that out, okay.
Mayor, don't feel bad. I also had no clue about peaches. That must be something.
Okay.
You're getting old and you lose the
Maybe perhaps we should
kid shows.
ask Councilmember Hilton and Councilmember Turbin whether they had ever heard of peaches.
Did you know peaches?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. All right. Next point tonight is our visitors section. If anyone wishes to come down and address council on any matter, you can come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, and we would welcome you. I think people know who you are, but go ahead and tell us again.
I'm Margaret Quinn, long time resident of Oakwood, and just wanted to thank you all. This is just fun, and it makes it fun, and it makes us a community. And it was my new daughter-in-law that spurred us on this year. We were all kind of tired, and it was a group effort, but it really makes it fun, and I can't thank you enough for keeping it going.
All right. Well, thank you.
We probably, not because...
Well, that happens to us all the time, especially when I say we will now go to the legislation portion of our meeting. So if you want to leave, you're more than welcome to do that. But it's going to be a great rest of the meeting. Okay. Thank you. All right, so this will start our legislation for this evening, and Vice Mayor Byington has a resolution.
Yes, Your Honor. I have a resolution by the Council of the City of Oakwood declaring the necessity of a levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting that the county auditor certify the total current tax valuation of the City of Oakwood and the number of mills for each $1 of taxable value necessary to generate a specific amount of revenue. This resolution is the first legislative step towards placing a new levy on the ballot in March of 2024. Council had originally planned to place this levy on the ballot for the election taking place tomorrow. It would have been a renewal of an existing 3.75 mil levy that was first approved by Oakwood voters in 2013. Unfortunately, the issue was not approved for the ballot by the Board of Elections due to a clerical error. As a result, the existing 3.75 mil levy will expire at the end of 2023, and Council will place a new replacement levy on the ballot in March of 2024. We do not yet know the exact millage rate for the new levy. We are asking the Montgomery County Auditor to determine the rate so that the new levy will generate the same amount of revenue as the expiring levy, meaning that it will not raise property taxes above what we pay today. The current effective millage rate of the expiring levy is 3.03. We anticipate that the millage rate for the replacement levy will be lower than 3.03 due to the strong property valuations in Oakwood. The second piece of legislation for this levy will be on the agenda for Council's December meeting. And at this time, I make a motion that Council adopt this resolution this evening.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments for Vice Mayor Byington? Hearing none, Lori, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Duncan?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Byington?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Mrs. Hilton?
Yes.
Mrs. Turbin?
And our only other item of legislation is an ordinance that Mrs. Turbin wishes to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to amend Appendix A, which is the Public Services Rate Sheet of the Oakwood Streets and Public Services Code, to increase the water service rates and the sanitary sewer utility rates. This is an ordinance to make increases in the minimum charges and consumption rates for our water and sanitary sewer utility services. The city last raised their water rates in January of 2017, which was 7 years ago, and the sanitary sewer rates in January of 18, which is 6 years ago. The city currently operates 4 services in public utilities: water, sanitary sewer, stormwater, and refuse. Each of these services are supported primarily by user fees and not by general tax revenues. The city manager has recommended responsible rate increases for the water and sanitary sewer utilities in order to meet operational and upcoming capital needs. The increase would take effect in January of 2024. A typical resident in Oakwood uses between 300 and 900 cubic feet of water per month. During the summer months, the use can increase depending on the degree to which the property owner engages in outside irrigation. The monthly increase for water and sewer will be as follows. If you use 300 cubic feet of water, your monthly increase will be $7.64. You use 900 cubic feet of water in a month, your increase will be $12.92. Likewise, on sanitary sewer, if you use 300 cubic feet, your monthly increase will be $7.95. 900 cubic feet, $13.24. The rate changes were presented to the citizen-led Budget Review Committee as part of the 2024 budget briefing on September 12th and October 16th, and their response was positive. This is the first reading of this ordinance, and so I make no motion at this time.
Thank you. We will deal with that then at our December meeting. That concludes our legislation. We do have a very interesting staff report from our Leisure Service Department and Carol Collins. Welcome, Carol.
Good evening, Mayor Duncan and members of Oakwood City Council. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to talk a little bit about leisure services and horticulture for the city of Oakwood. I'm going to start off with the pool. As you know, we started construction on the pool in 22, and you can see the construction that took place in the fall of 22, and then the final product in 2023. So we're very, very happy with the fact that all of the construction was done in a timely fashion, and that the residents that joined the pool enjoyed a summer full of fun and activities for the family. Just some of the information about Gardner Pool. We had 535 family memberships, 56 single memberships, and 121 senior memberships. The total memberships for 22 were 685 versus 712 for 2023. This is one of the highest membership rates that we've had in a number of years. So we're very happy with that, and we know that those people that had the pool memberships really enjoyed all of the improvements that we made to the pool. One other thing about the pool is that in 24, we're going to be putting in a liner at the pool, which we feel will extend the pool membrane of the pool, and that will last for probably 25 years. So that will happen in the spring of 20 and 24, and we're looking forward to that. We still have some work that needs to be done yet this fall, and that will be taking place in the next couple of weeks. And that needs to be done before they can put the liner in the springtime. The summer fun at the pool, swim lessons, we had 205 participants. Swim team was one of the largest swim teams that we've had in a number of years with 224. We had deep water workout and water aerobics that had 47 participants. And as you can see, the total revenue for the pool in 23 surpassed what we had in 22. And of course, we can't forget our little furry friends. So at the end of the pool season, we had the 13th annual dog splash, and we had 33 dogs participate this year. Everybody had a great time, and we're not exactly sure about what is going to happen next year with the pool liner. We're working with them right now to find a solution, whether we can have the dog splash or not. But this has been a very popular event for the end of the season of the pool. And then we've had some updates to Orchardly Park and Schaefer Park. The Orchardly Park, we had a new playground piece of equipment that was instructed, as well as swings. And of course, then we have the pickleball courts that has become very popular within the community. And then the lower two pictures were just recently done at Schaefer Park, and those were 2 swing sets, one for toddlers and one for the older children. And those were just completed within the last 3 weeks. So we're happy that we can have these improvements to the parks, and look forward to having a lot of usage out of these pieces of equipment. And of course, we had the Family Fall Festival on October the 8th, as well as Scarecrow Row. And it was a perfect fall day for this. And we had a very, very good crowd, and I think everybody had a great time. Looking forward to what we can provide next year for both Scarecrow Row and the Family Fall Festival. And we can't forget the Johnny Appleseed street tree planting project. This project is underway right now. We have extended the application deadline until next Sunday, which would be November the 12th. We have quite a few applications right now, and we hope that this week we'll have a number of other trees that were purchased for the right-of-way. We have planted 5,259 trees throughout this project, and a total expenditure of $454,000. This year, the trees will be 2 inches in diameter, and we have 5 trees that we're offering this year, and a number of them are native trees to this area. So we hope that the residents participate in this program, because the homeowner pays 50% of the cost, and then the city of Oakwood pays the other 50%, as long as the trees are planted between the sidewalk and curb or in the city right-of-way. So one of the trees is the swamp white oak, which is highly recommended by the nursery to plant. And we're planting that instead of the red oak. And then the ornamental tree that we have is the ivory silk Japanese lilac. And that's more of an ornamental tree, and we only offer one of those throughout the season. And then we have a sugar maple, and if you looked at all of the maples this year, this fall, they were spectacular. So the oranges and the reds and the yellows, this is a very good variety of sugar maple to plant, and that's why we chose that variety. And then one of the native trees is the black gum, and we offered that a couple of years ago, and it was very popular. And it's a little bit slower growing tree, but we think that with the fall color and the growth habit, it's one of the better trees to plant. And then the last one that we've offered is the greenspire little leaf linden. And that's known for the fall color, as well as the fragrance of the flowers that occur in June. And we have not used the greenspire little leaf linden for a number of years, and felt that it was time to bring that one back. And then this year at Smith Gardens, it was a great summer. The color in the spring, summer, and fall, as well as winter, is spectacular, and we had quite a few events that took place at the gardens. We had blanket concerts that we held during the summertime. We had Wright Library that came and had story hour, and then we had a number of rentals and weddings at the gardens. But this season was absolutely beautiful, and we're glad that we can share that with those that come to the gardens and enjoy the beauty that is created. And then this past weekend, we had the cleanup of Houck Stream. We had about 28 people that came and participated in cutting honeysuckle. And I'm telling you, these kids worked really, really hard. It was a beautiful day to do this. A lot of the kids, as you can see in the pictures, there were scouts there, and they worked their little hearts out. And it was just the perfect day for that. And I thank all of the volunteers that helped. And then the picture on the left, this morning we took out all of the honeysuckle. We took out over 4 truckloads of honeysuckle. So we mulched all of that up, and now we have a bench back. So I'm glad that we have the opportunity to do the cleanup every year for our natural areas. And then as far as upcoming events that we have the Candy Cane Hunt in Schaefer Park, and that's a free event for Oakwood residents. And that will be Saturday, December the 2nd from 1:30 to 2:45. That'll be held in Schaefer Park. The lighting up of Oakwood and the Holiday of Lights will be Sunday, December the 10th. And the activities at Schaefer Park will start at 6:30. We ask that people that purchase luminarias have them lit by 6 o'clock. And it's probably my favorite festival of all of the activities that we do. It just seems to be a magical night for the whole community. And then the last thing that we have this year will be the Breakfast with Santa, and that'll be on December the 16th. And with that, that's the conclusion of my report. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Carol?
I do. Carol, I read about the poinsettia sale, and I just wondered what the deadline is to sign up, or has it passed?
It has not passed.
Okay.
We are taking reservations for poinsettias until the nursery tells us that we can't take any more.
Oh, okay.
And that has not come up yet. So we're looking forward to that as a fundraiser for Smith Gardens.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've sent those to people before, and they're very lovely. So that's really a neat thing.
Other questions for Carol? All right.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
for your service to our fine city, and thank you for that report. We appreciate it very much. Okay, I think it is now time for our Oakwood moment. Correct? Yes. I guess that's me. Okay. We're celebrating Veterans Day this Saturday, and we want to point out the fact that Oakwood has a pretty long tradition of people that have served in the branches of the military and supported our country in times of war and peace. And we have a couple of things we'd like to point out that exist in the city of Oakwood if you haven't seen them. The first one is called Veterans Corner at Lang Stadium, and that is at the northeast corner of Lane Stadium. I believe it's near the flagpole. Councilmember Stevens knows a lot about this because he was instrumental in organizing this project, and with the help of the Oakwood Rotary Club, that project came to fruition in October of 2017. So we appreciate that was your idea from the very beginning, and you shepherded it all the way through. So thank you for that. The second one is Veterans Memorial at Orchardly Park, and this was created by the Girl Scout troop, and it was dedicated in November of 2018. And it is images, almost like 3D images of various current and former citizens in Oakwood that have served our country. The one in the middle is William Meyer, who still serves on our Budget Review Committee. And so he dialed in by Zoom the last time, but appreciate your service, Mr. Meyer, and that is a very nice memorial, and again, that's at Orchardly Park. Thirdly, we have a famous person still here in our chamber, and before I talk about Dr. Hardy, I want to tell you a little bit about the Veterans Administration Medical Center here in Dayton. It's over on the west side of Dayton. It has been serving veterans for over 150 years. It started accepting its first patient in 1867. They provide a full range of health care through medical, surgical, mental health, home and community health, geriatric, physical medicine and therapy service, neurology, oncology, dentistry, and hospice. I had some help from your website. So, they also provide healthcare services at 7 locations in both Ohio and Indiana. They have outpatient clinics in Lima, Middletown, Springfield, and Richmond, Indiana. They have a clinic at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and a mobile clinic for veterans who can't visit any one of their facilities. Back in, I believe the numbers are comparable, this was a 2021 stat, but they had over 2,200 employees, and they serve the healthcare needs of over 40,000 veterans. So this is a true community gem. And I'm trying to remember, and I'm sure Dr. Hardy can inform us of this, there's some historical archives, I think, that are also at the VA in Dayton. But he has been the chief of staff for the VA Medical Center, and he is now retiring at the end of this month, I believe. Oh, that's right, it was last week, yeah. Because he told us at his retirement ceremony, this picture is Norb and I going to his retirement ceremony, and he said, you still have to get a piece of paper signed by somebody to retire. And so everything else is electronic, but not that. So that's a picture of us. I also wanted to point out on the next slide that longtime Oakwood resident Mark Murdoch, who retired from the Air Force, and he was the director of the VA Medical Center until he moved to New York State earlier this year to serve as the director of the Syracuse VA. So Oakwood residents have a long tradition of serving our veterans through the Dayton Veterans Association Medical Center. But more about Dr. Hardy. Having retired, he had 32 years of service in the Army, 21 in the Army and 11 with the VA. He started out as a platoon leader and company commander, and he joined the Army, and he said when he joined the Army, nobody knew about Vietnam, but then he had to go to Vietnam and was serving as a platoon leader. And then after that, he went to college to go to medical school. And he's got his undergrad from Gettysburg College with a BA in history, and then he went to the University of Washington to get an MS in administrative medicine, which is why Councilmember Hilton, Wisconsin, what did I say? I'm sorry.
You said Washington.
Washington, okay. I did say that. University of Wisconsin, and
That's why I took my hat off.
And didn't want to confuse that with Washington. But his military education is just an incredible list here. He had an inventory officer, basic course. He was in the Army Airborne 101st Famous Division, and he graduated. He jumped out of airplanes, I guess, and then he went to Ranger School. He was a Ranger, Special Warfare School, and then on the medical piece, he went to Family Practice Residency, Flight Surgeons Course, U.S. Army War College. He's had numerous awards. He got his parachutist wings, flight surgeon wings, Combat Infantryman's Badge, Legion of Merit with an oak leaf cluster, a Bronze Star with Valor, and 3 oak leaf clusters. He got the Cross of Gallantry from the Republic of Vietnam, and he got a Meritorious Service Medal. But he informed us late this afternoon that his most important award was a joint award shared with Norb Klops and the Oakwood Rotary Hazmat, picking up the largest number of paint cans in one load. He put ha-ha after that. So we appreciate your service to our country, and he is here tonight with his spouse, Victoria Nils. Did I pronounce that? Nillis, and I appreciate her coming. And we would like to, honor you for your service to your country. And as I said earlier, you are also a true American hero. And if you would like to come up to the podium and address City Council, we would be interested in hearing your sage words of advice.
I'm going to have to move this up a little. I'm really humbled to get this sort of recognition in a community that has so many outstanding citizens. Victoria and I have lived a lot of places in our 35 years of marriage around the world, and never in a place as great as Oakwood. When I got here over 20 years ago and worked for the Kettering Health Network, one of the vice presidents asked me where I lived. And I told him I was living in Oakwood. And he said, "You know how you can tell if someone lives in Oakwood?" I said, "No, how?" He said, "They tell you." And it was kind of a left-handed compliment in a way, but it is indicative of how the folks who live around the Dayton area view us. I mean, we have so many things in Oakwood that no one else has. This is a unique community. It's almost an anachronism in many ways. It's the way we like to think the world should be, but unfortunately it isn't. And I'm reminded every day of how fortunate I am to be here, to have great leadership and great citizens who are devoted to making the city of Oakwood better. So thank you for this recognition. I appreciate what you do as members of the City Council, and if there's anything I can do for any of you in retirement, please let me know.
We have a long list of volunteer committees. Be careful what you wish for.
We are recording this, right? This is recorded? Yes, good, good.
Again, Dr. Hardy, we thank you for your service, and we are happy to know that you are one of us, an Oakwoodian. So thank you very much. Is it now time for the city manager's report? I lost my agenda.
It is, Your Honor.
It is. It is.
Thank you. Just a few quick things. You know, that last bullet point on Dr. Hardy's bio is in fact very true, I think. Tom and I have enjoyed doing the hazmat pickup via the Rotary Club for many, many years, and he said to me this past weekend that he might volunteer to actually take it over at some point because he's got all this time on his hands now. But it's as I've said to you before, it's a wonderful, wonderful program, and we thoroughly enjoy once a quarter picking up whatever folks have out for us to pick up, and generally we load up his pickup truck, a full-size pickup truck, you know, 2 deep in the back with all kinds of bad stuff that, you know, is better off not finding its way into our refuse packers in the landfill. So Tom and I really enjoy that. Electric aggregation. We distributed a press release today, so I hope the Oakwood Register and the Dayton Daily News will cover it, and it'll be on our website as well, that November 15th is the deadline to sign up for the electricity purchasing program through the Miami Valley Communications Council. Right on the homepage of our website is a link that will take our residents to information about the program. Our law director talked about it the last couple of meetings. The details of what the offer is, it's for about a little over a 2-year period, locks the electricity rate in. It's about 4 cents per kilowatt hour less than what you pay through the standard offer that AES has for folks in the region here. And so it's really a good deal, and there's no penalty for leaving the program early if one would choose to do that. And it takes about 2 minutes, plus or minus, to sign up for it. The only thing you need besides your name and address is your AES account number, and it's a very, very simple process. So it's important for everyone to know that November 15th is the deadline to ensure that you get the same rate as the rest of the folks in the program. Construction update. You know, one need just drive down Far Hills Avenue to see that we're still actively engaged in construction. We know winter's coming, but we're making good progress with both the storm sewer project and the curb work along Far Hills. Here in a week or two, the traveling lanes north and south on Far Hills will switch. In other words, the two east lanes will be open to north and southbound traffic, and the 2 west lanes will be closed in a several block area for the western half of that storm sewer project to be completed. So it'll be a shifting of the lanes, but it'll be clearly marked. And as we've seen for the last 3 months, having a single lane, which we've had for northbound Far Hills traffic, does work even during the rush hour traffic. So we continue to thank our residents for the patience as we complete those important projects. And my last comment, I just have to say it because of our Army veterans, including Victoria. And Vic, as some of you know, was 1 year ahead of ahead of me at West Point. So for my entire lifetime, I have to call her ma'am because she's my senior and will always be my senior. Vic and I did not know each other at West Point, even though we walked the plane there for 3 years together. But we become dear friends here in Oakwood. And last Saturday, we enjoyed what was an amazing end result, and that is the fact that the Army football team, and I know we have a number of Academy grads living in Oakwood, Army, Navy, and Air Force. And, well, the Army team, you can pull the hook here if I talk too long, went into the hostile environment of Colorado, where the Air Force Falcons play, with a stellar 2-6 record, to take on the 8-0, 25th ranked in the AP Air Force Academy Falcons, and dismantled them by the score of 23-3. And what's very important about that, not only is it one of the biggest upsets in our history, really. There were 52,000 plus, most of which were Air Force Falcon fans, there at what used to be called Mile High Stadium, watching Army take apart their football team. But now, because we beat Air Force on December 9th, very important day, the Army team plays Navy. And after we beat Navy, we then, of course, take home the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, which is the pinnacle of everything, right, Vic? So go Army, now beat Navy. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Any resident sports reporter, Councilmember Stevens, do you have a prediction on the results of the Army game?
No, because I don't want to, upset any Navy personnel that is living in Oakwood. I'm going to take the political. They won't tie. I'll tell you that. How about that? It should be a good game. How about that? It'll be a good game.
Great. Okay. Any questions for?
Yes, I have one. The storm sewer project, somehow I got on the email list, and it's been really informative. Is that obvious from the website how somebody could get on it?
It is.
Okay.
They're
Perfect.
right on the homepage is a
Okay.
link to that project and a place where you can register your email and get the weekly or biweekly updates.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right. We'll now go to council comments. Councilmember Turbin.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. I am happy to report that the Oakwood Historical Society is hosting the 5th annual Holiday Home Tour. So it is returning again on December 2nd. And this year, the Historical Society has chosen an area around Dayton Country Club. And some of the homes are just gorgeous, majestic. I would almost say iconic. So if you're interested in attending, again, it's December 2nd, and it'll run from 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And if you're interested in getting tickets, you can get them at the homepage for the Oakwood Historical Society. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hilton.
No comments, Your Honor.
Councilmember Stevens.
No comments this evening.
Vice Mayor Byington.
As I do every year, I remind folks that tomorrow is Election Day. We are sitting in a chamber with some of the instruments of voting here this evening. I've always said that Oakwood is a very educated and well-informed community. We take pride in understanding the issues, both sides of the issues. So I really just encourage folks to get out, do their homework, figure out where they stand, and then actually cast their ballot as well. Democracy has kind of been bruised and battered in the last couple of years, but I still firmly believe in it, and I know that everybody here in Oakwood does as well. I also want to say thank you to all the candidates, particularly of the school board, who have put themselves out there and shown that they're willing to serve. However it plays out tomorrow, I'm sure that we will have two great additions to the school board, and I'm very hopeful that the other two continue to stay involved in our community, because I have heard all of them speak, and they are all very talented folks. So, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Question for Rob. Is it Boy Scout Troop 151 in Oakwood, or is it Cub Scout Pack 151, I believe? So I was asked to meet with them in October to sort of talk about local government and what the mayor does, and
Did I sit on that one?
Yeah, yeah, and it was very interesting because I was asked a lot of really good questions, and we talked, and it was part of that for earning a badge for like government and in the United States. And so at the end of my presentation, I got an honorary badge, and I told them I would hold this up. I don't know if people can see it, but it is, their mascot's the Mighty Ducks, and they have a little chant, and I don't think I'm going to do it right, but it was like quack, 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 quack. So, but then, even more amazing, then the third graders from Harmon School wanted to come visit the city, and they went to the water plant. Then there was like 3 different classes divided up 3 ways. Then they wanted to go to see the fire apparatus, and then they wanted to go see our temporary holding facility, AKA the jail, and that was the highlight of the trip. And then they had to come in here and listen to me talk. But, and I won't tell you, well, I'll skip that. But the one thing they said at the end, they said, "Can I have your autograph?" And no one has ever asked me that in my 20 years on city council. I joked with them originally, says, "Well, kids, normally I charge for my autograph, but I will do it for free for you guys." So they all got in a single file line here, and I'm standing at the podium signing my name 75 times. I was getting writer's cramp. But that was fun, and they asked some pretty good questions as well. And then my last item is we got a letter from, or a letter was sent to our public safety department, and it was from Beth Abraham Synagogue. And they said, "Beth Abraham Synagogue is so grateful to be part of Oakwood and having your department support us. We are appreciative of your regular circling through our complex, especially on Saturdays, to check on us during our weekly service. Of course, the extra time and concern you have shown recently has not gone unnoticed. It provides additional comfort to our staff and congregation. On behalf of our board of directors, staff, and congregation, we want to say thank you for all that you do, not only for us, but also the community at large. Our sisterhood graciously put together this thank you gift. Please share with the department." And it was about 100 cookies. I mean, I saw the picture. I wish the mayor had been invited to this, but and they're gone, right? They're almost gone. Okay, all right. So I appreciate you doing that for them. And our next meeting is going to be on Monday, December 4, 2023, and we are adjourned.